Hey everybody, this is Dave. And what is better than one night at the fire pit? That would be 2 nights at the fire pit. So I'm coming to you from my backyard, my fire pit out here in the backyard. It is Tuesday. It's around 5:30. So question I have for you guys: when does evening start? When does afternoon end? You say 5 o'clock in the afternoon and 6 o'clock in the evening. For me, night starts at 9 or 10 p.m., but I don't know when evening starts. So anyway, it's about 5:30 in the evening here in Southern Maryland, and the fire is tuning up. I just got it lit. I have another cigar with me tonight. Don't even have a subject matter to chat with you about, so that probably will make this an hour-long video. We'll see. But anyway, just welcome everybody to Tuesday evening fireside chat at the fire pit. Anyway, I enjoy this so much. I just love doing this. So I'm smoking the second of the second pair. These are the 180, almost $200 cigars. I smoked a pair of them with you Creekside in Wyoming, and I smoked the first of the second pair last night, and this is the second one tonight. So this is the Fuente. I know you can't see it. But anyway, just to be nice, I'm going to go ahead and light it up. And I know last night's was wonderful. Not worth $200 a stick, that's for sure. But Dave got a whole nother box of them in, so I went ahead and bought a pair. Probably be my last one. That's what I said last time. I do realize the irony in that statement. But anyway, so this is my fourth of 4 cigars. Like I said, the second of the second pair. I don't anticipate buying any more of these. Dave has found me some rare sticks, and he's holding for me. So when we get back to Wyoming in January, we'll get them out. We'll show them to you like we always do. So I know my Germans get a lot more coverage on these videos. So you see Sasha and Ranger quite a bit, especially this time of year. Ranger lives with us for 2 months, so that Sean can go back and forth to Denver. So Ranger's with us from mid-November to mid-January. But this time of year, I don't really do dog yard chats because it's dark by the time I get home from the paddock and do whatever the errands need to be done and get out here. So, but there's a great shot. Amory got a great shot of the 3 Goldens laying on the couch watching Christmas movies today. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to put it in. It's on its own so you can see it full size. But it's pretty cute. And that way you can see Finn, Echo, and Chance all on the couch together. So Finn is our other 9-month-old. He and Sasha are born within about a day or 2 or 3 of each other. So we've had him. He's 9 months old as well. And we've had him 7 months. He likes to play with the Germans, but he's really not up to their athletic standards. So he gets run over a lot. I think he got his back left leg hurt a little bit, so he's feeling a little off the last 2 days. So Amory's in there making him chicken and rice for dinner. See if we can't get him feeling right again. Others hate to take him to the vet, but we'll see. But anyway, Amory's in there making the dogs dinner, and she's gonna feed them, and then she's off to the farm for a couple hours. So it's just a perfect time of day to come out here and be with you guys in a fireside chat. It's a pretty nice daily scheduler routine I have here in Maryland. I get up at 5 like I always do, and mainly do a bunch of chores around the house from 5 to 7, and then check the markets, do my email, till Amory gets up around 8, and then I leave at about 8:30 or 8:45 and go to the paddock for the market open, and I watch a couple of market guys at 9. Market opens at 9:30. I probably play around till 10 or 11, and then I've got to run errands associated with me selling my gold right now, so that takes a couple hours. And then get back to the paddock for a few hours, and usually around 3 or 4, kind of get back to the house and see what else needs to be done around the house. So yesterday was moving firewood. Today was doing a little bit of decorating outside. I think I'm gonna work Fireside Chats in for a while because that's a good time for Anne Marie to go. She likes going at the end of the day over to the farm, so it leaves me kind of able to do this for an hour or two. And we usually end our day watching an hour of TV or something. I trundle off to bed at 9 or 10 o'clock every night. It's a nice, friendly, peaceful routine, though. I enjoy it. So we'll do a follow-up conversation about cryptos for a minute here. I promise you the whole show won't be about it, but several of you asked me questions about what exchange do I use, and then how do I store my crypto coins. So pretty much right now I'm doing all my buying and selling of crypto on Coinbase. It's the largest and probably most well known. It doesn't have any regulatory issues with the US. Then pretty much every coin that I wish to participate in is sold on the Coinbase exchange. So I have other accounts. I have Bybit and Binance, and I have an Ogre account because I was trading some pretty esoteric altcoins 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm not really doing that right now. I've told you what I trade: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Flare, FLR, XLM, which is Stellar, or Stellar Lumens, and then XRP. Those are the 2 major coins, and then 3 altcoins, and I do them all on Coinbase. If I plan to hold them for any length of time, like more than a day or 2 or 3, I move those coins off to what they call a cold storage device, and I use a Trezor T, Trezor T like Tom, Trezor T, and I transfer the coins onto that Trezor device. Then that Trezor device sits in my vault here at the house. So the short answer is Coinbase and Trezor are how I trade and how I store. So I think the last crypto subject will be, I had one of you type in a question about how to transfer your coins from one type of wallet to Binance, and then you typed in your 12-word passphrase, and so I deleted your comment. So I responded to your comment and let it sit there for a few hours, but then I deleted it because, just for you guys who don't understand, when you create a wallet and you create a backup 12-word passphrase, anybody who has that 12-word passphrase can recreate. They can go buy the same device and then recreate it using your 12-word passphrase, and then their wallet is essentially a mirror image of yours, and they can do whatever they want with it. So you never ever want to do 2 things. You never want to give anyone who's not in your absolute trust circle your passphrase, the 12-word passphrase, and you never ever want to forget where you put it or lose it. So I would type it into some sort of Word document or something, and then print several copies and put one in a safe and put one in a safety deposit box. Give one to your closest son or daughter. You want to be able to find that thing years from now, right? Even if it's a year or 2 before you use it, you'll forget where you put it, and then it's gone if you can't find it. So Anyway, never give to anybody except your closest trusted person, and always know where it is. Never lose it. And if you're the one who did that, please type your question back in, and I'll respond to you on how to transfer your coins. I just didn't want to leave that comment up on the internet any longer than I needed. Than it shouldn't have been there at all, but I didn't want to delete it without telling you. So just submit your question again so I know who you are, but do it without putting your passphrase in it. That's all. I know when I look at the camera, it looks like I'm a long ways away from you, but I kind of like it because when I look at the fire, I look across the fire at you, it's almost like you guys are sitting in the other chair over there. It's kind of nice. I don't know if it's distracting to have someone talk to you from this far away or not, so let me know if it's kind of weird. I'll move you closer, but it's hard. I can't put me and the fire in the same view if I move the camera much closer, so that's kind of why I'm doing it this way. So I found out some good news today. We've talked about I almost bought the brick and mortar shop in Jackson that I go to, Tobacco Row, but didn't need to. The owner did the right thing, and the shop continues on better than ever, and I didn't have to get involved, which is good. But it looks like we're going to open a second location about 30 miles south in a huge growing area of Wyoming and create sort of a regional vape center as well. And so the business plan is coming to me on Saturday, but it looks like I've asked to be a silent partner. I don't want to own any of the business. I'll provide all the working capital and seed money and just take a percentage of the profits and not have the ownership be distributed. It can all be to the other Dave, not to me. So it looked like the perfect spot opened up real estate wise, and a couple guys are going down to check it out tomorrow. But it looks really quite real. I'm pretty excited. It'd be nice. I'd like to have a bigger footprint in the Jackson area, and owning some businesses would be a way I'm looking forward to doing that. So pretty excited actually. It's interesting. The comment, there's what's legal and there's what's moral and there's what's right. When you start talking about, the entering the world of being a vape center, for some reason that gives me pangs. I have no problem with pipe tobacco. I have no problem with cigars. But for some reason, vape feels dirtier to me. I don't know why. Like being a purveyor of sin or something. It's not really true, but sometimes it feels that way a little bit. So that'll be something I have to wrestle with over the next few days and next few weeks as we try to paper this deal. So Wyoming CBD and everything related to THC is illegal, so there'll be none of that in the store, that's nice. Eventually Wyoming will have to legalize it, and then we'll have a decision to make as a store. But anyway, I find that interesting mental quarrel to get through. It's interesting. Emery and I were noticing during coffee this morning that Sasha's almost the biggest dog of the five now. She's certainly taller than any of the other dogs, even a little bit taller than Ranger, and starting to fill out. So I think she's predicting she'll be the biggest dog of the five, very soon, which means if she does, she'll get into the 80, 90 pound range, which is a pretty big female German Shepherd. I'll put up a couple pictures of them sleeping so you can do a side-by-side comparison of them sleeping. I'll try to capture them walking around together or playing together tomorrow so you can see them. But she's almost dead equal to Ranger now, and still only 9 months old, so I think she's got a little ways to go over the next 3-4 months. Pretty interesting though. Anyway, I'll show you a couple pictures here. So I don't have much else to talk about tonight, so I think I got a question about the CEO stuff, CEO schools we've been calling it on the channel. And the question was, how do you get and stay organized? So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that because I think my answer might shock you. Kind of with everything else we do here on the channel, I'll tell you what I do and I'll tell you how I do it, and then you have to decide if it makes sense for you. I certainly can't tell you what to do. But I'll tell you the most basic thing you can do to get organized is a daily to-do list. One that you actually write. I mean, I use literally a pen and a piece of paper. And I end my day with what I want to get accomplished tomorrow. And I have a clean list. And that clean list is on my desk. So when I walk into the paddock in the morning, I'm looking at it. And so I'm not trying to make decisions in the fire of the day. I've made the decisions of what I want to do and in what order in the quiet at the end of the day. So literally like 3 o'clock or so, as I'm ramping down in the paddock, and I try to think about what do I want to accomplish tomorrow, and is there anything I can do this afternoon, to get myself ready. So that's the first thing I would do if you're feeling disorganized, is literally get out a piece of paper, a pad, and a pen, and just start writing down the things that are weighing on you. Because typically when we feel like we need to get organized, it means we feel disorganized, meaning we really haven't taken the time to figure out what we want to accomplish. I know lots of times people are looking for silver bullets. Like there's got to be a different way of doing it, or I'd be doing it by now. And I just found it's not true. And I've also found that sometimes the simplest, most non-high-tech way of doing things are still the best here, even in 2024 and as we roll into 2025. Now I'm an old dude. Yeah, I'm 60, so I don't type out a lot of lists on my phone or use the notes application or use Google Notes, or I mean, there's lots of tech ways of doing this. My concern is sometimes the technology we choose to do things actually gets in the way. We become more concerned about how we're doing these things rather than what we're actually getting accomplished. And the to-do list is, for me, is a perfect example. Piece of paper and a pen, and update it every night. Like create a new list, scratch out what you got done, and things you didn't get done, move over to tomorrow. And if you find that you're moving the same 2 or 3 things from day to day to day, because we all do that, you just need to ask yourself, are these things I really want to get accomplished? And if so, why am I letting it roll from day to day and week to week? And the second thing I would ask myself is, am I prioritizing my day right? And you guys have heard me say on the channel many a time, do the thing you want to do least first. Your day will get easier as it moves along if you do that. So that's the kind of brilliance you're going to get on this channel about CEO School. First thing you do is create a list, put it in priority order, and then start working it off. And put the thing you want to do least first on tomorrow's list. I also find that's a good system because it tests if you really have the self-discipline to be organized. Part of the problem is you just might not have the self-discipline to sit down at the end of the day for 10 or 15 minutes and write down what you want to get done tomorrow and then work that list off in the morning. So basic, so simple, but simple is not easy. That's a good, real first test that if you truly wish to be organized or not. The second thing I would advise you is get some sort of calendar going. I'm an old dude again, so I use Microsoft Outlook. There's a calendar function in Outlook. I like it. I use it. And I have my entire year already in the calendar. So all the people's birthdays who are important to me are in my calendar, and they're recurring. If you use something like Outlook, Google Calendar does the same thing. You can set these things up to be recurring. So when you put in your wife's birthday and you say, I want this thing to recur every year, and you never have to type it in again. It's in the calendar now forever. You put in your anniversary date and you say, I want it to recur annually, and it's there for the rest of time. Doctor's appointments, dentist appointments. We change our car oil every 3 months, every 6 months, whatever schedule you're on. Nothing should surprise you. I find people that do two things that really blow their life up. They either double book themselves without knowing it, or things that are relatively regular in your life end up surprising us. Birthdays should not surprise us. Anniversaries should not surprise us. Doctor appointments and dentist appointments should not creep up on us. These things should be, planned in. If you pay rent, put the days due in your calendar. Make it recurring if it's monthly, and let it be there. Yeah, I still give my kids, weekly allowances, I guess, and so those are in my calendar. I also have them on auto pay, but they're in the calendar so I don't forget them. My daughter's flight home is already in my calendar. Her flight back to school in January is already in my calendar. So these things should not surprise us. If you have to get your HVAC worked on each year for maintenance, put that in, and what date you want it done. If you have to get your septic system pumped, like I do, and then you get it done every 3 years, put it in your calendar so you don't forget it. The other thing I'd recommend you do with your calendar is put reminders on it. Every time you put an event in your calendar, tell it to remind you however many days you need to make sure it doesn't shock you. So if you need to be told a week ahead of time that this thing's coming up at you, then set a reminder for 1 week out, or 2 weeks out, or 1 day out, or 3 days out. These calendar functions are pretty flexible that way. If you do this and do it consistently, very few things in life will surprise you, and you'll never double book yourself. You may get a request to do a meeting or to have coffee or lunch or dinner with somebody when there's something already there, and you either have to rebook what's already there or tell them that weekend or that night's not going to work. I can't tell you how powerful it is to have a good to-do list and a really well-maintained calendar. Those two things alone will change your life should you choose to do it and do it well. I also find it helpful to maintain one calendar for my professional and private life. So I would have, if I had reviews to do, they'd be in my calendar alongside the birthdays. That way I didn't have two different calendar systems with two different systems for me to look at every time I needed to book something. And you don't have to try to do the whole year all now if you don't want to, but my goal for anybody starting with me is you certainly can look out over the next 2 weeks and know everything that you have to get done date wise and put it in your calendar, and then always stay 2 weeks ahead of yourself, and each week try to add a week. So this week 2 weeks out, next week 3 weeks out, and a month from now you'll know 4, 5, 6 weeks out. By the time you've been doing this for 4 or 5 months, you'll have an entire year out in front of you. So what I call this is pushing my event horizon further away. And I like a year-long event horizon. I like pretty much everything I know I need to get done and when it needs to be done, I like to have in my calendar. That way I can scroll through the calendar on a weekly basis or even a monthly basis and really kind of refresh what is expected of me. When do you want to have your tax return prepared by? If you have to pay property taxes yourself, when are they due? Give yourself a week or two reminder so that they don't call up on you and surprise you. If you're going to a pipe show, put that in your calendar now. Even if it's Ohio next year, get it in your calendar so you don't plan anything around it, and you can make sure your family knows you plan to be gone that weekend. So it's another great test. If you truly want to be organized, then get a calendar function and get it set up. Use something old school like Microsoft Office, Microsoft Outlook, the calendar function, or use Google Calendar. Just I don't really care what you use, but don't make it too hard. Do it tomorrow and do it for the next 2 weeks. If you can do that, it will change your life. You'll stop surprising yourself. You'll stop double booking people. And it's a test. Have your own self-discipline. Do you have what it takes to stay organized? Do you keep a to-do list? Do you keep a calendar? And if you can do those two things, I'm telling you, it will change your life. So if you do those things and you still feel disorganized, comment back. Tell me what you're feeling, what's making you feel disorganized. And if you already have a to-do list or a calendar, we'll work together and figure out what else needs to be done. And if you have tips or tricks on how you stay organized and you stay not double booked and you stay unsurprised by life's standard events, put it in the comment or send it to me, text me, or email me your tips and tricks, and we'll add them to a future video. All right, well, that's enough CEO school, and that is enough crypto for one fireside chat, that's for sure. So take a little break here. I'm enjoying my cigar and my drink. I lied. We should talk about time a little bit more. Whether you're retired or new to management like Piper Ken or whatever, time is your most valuable asset. The clock time on the wall is your most valuable asset, and you really do need to do a better job of protecting that time. One of the greatest fallacies in American management is the open door policy. Anybody can come see you on any subject at any time. That is a disaster. Anybody should be able to come talk to you about anything, but it has to be scheduled. And once I learned that and put that in perspective, and when somebody said, "Hey, I really need to see you, Dave, we got a big problem," I'm like, well, I'm pretty much booked the next 3 days, so how about Monday at 10? Well, no, I need to see you now. I don't think so. Let's do it at Monday at 10. I'll put you in the book. Or if somebody said, "No, I really need to see you," I said, "Well, how about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning?" Because that's the only time I have open tomorrow. You can find out if they really need to see you or not. No one controls your time other than you. Now, if you have a boss that can tell you to be at a meeting or something, I get that. But I imagine those meetings probably don't come up by surprise too often. You can probably schedule most of those too. Guard your time. Guard who you give it away to. Feels good to be needed. It feels good to have people needing to see you, but it'll wreck your life and your productivity. Allow anybody to walk into your life at any time. I'll give you an example. The CEO school we just did on Saturday. The guys wrote me back in the summer and said, "Hey, Dave would really like to get in a CEO school back together. We haven't met in a few months." And I said, "No problem. I'm in Wyoming until the week before Thanksgiving, and my daughter flies home on December 15th. You can pick any day in between those two events." And so that's how they picked last Saturday. The four of them chose the date. So just guard your time fiercely, and that's not natural. We're always taught to be benevolent with our time. You can be benevolent with your time, but it needs to be scheduled and on your calendar. Now I think I'm done. I'm sorry, guys. I keep lying to you. I just thought of something else. I'm doing this free, free freedom of thought, stream of consciousness. So sorry, these topics come up. I should write this down. The other concept I'd like you to begin practicing is, what is your highest and best use of your time? And you may find you're spending a lot of time on things that aren't your highest and best use. Maybe because you don't know it, or maybe because you're lazy, or maybe you're unmotivated, or maybe life's wearing you down and you just need to do it. But be careful of every time you are doing something that is not of your highest and best use. And I've picked on sports a few times, and I will here again too. If you find yourself watching 4, 8, 12, 16 hours, 3, 4, 5 football games every week, and you're feeling disorganized, or you're feeling like you're not accomplishing what you want to, you really do need to reevaluate how you're spending your time. And the other thing I'll suggest is even things like your pipe time. You probably need an hour to smoke your pipe correctly. And I think of like Dave at Central Cal. He goes out to his patio and he smokes his pipe. And what I suggest is schedule 2 or 3 of those a week. You know that Tuesdays and Fridays from 5 to 6 are your best time to go do that. So put that in your calendar and protect that time. Even if your wife asks, "What are you doing?" You say, "Hey, honey, I need these hours, 2 or 3 a week, so this is when I'm planning to do it." And then, guard against that. Pick the right times. Pick the times people don't pick at you for it. But protect that time as well. And I'll suggest to you that an hour with your pipe quiet on a patio is far better than watching football or hockey or baseball or whatever it is. And if you find yourself watching college football and then pro football and then hockey and then baseball and the drafts, you may be spending far too much time in front of TV if you're feeling disorganized or like you're not accomplishing in life. I'm not saying that's bad all by itself. I'm saying it's bad when it's combined with this feeling of not achieving what you want to achieve, not doing what you want to do, not being what you wanted to be, not working your way towards a dream that you've always wanted. If you're feeling that and spending a lot of wasting time, this is fourth quadrant time, as they call it in Stephen Covey's world. That fourth quadrant, which is, it's not high priority and it's not critical, and it falls into the third or fourth quadrant, and you don't want to spend time there unless you feel like you're achieving. All right, guys, I think it's enough. I'll go ahead and shut up and put this together and get it up. Once again, I wish you could feel what I'm feeling right now. My cigar is fantastic. The fire is fantastic. Spending time with you guys is relaxing to me. My drink is soaking into me. I just feel so relaxed and comfortable. It's interesting to talk about hardcore topics when I feel like this. It's an interesting combination inside of me. Well, guys, thank you for spending my evening with me. Thanks for coming out to the fire pit. Hope you had a great Tuesday. May God bless you. May God bless your life and those around you. May God turn his ear to your prayer. May God make his face shine upon you. May your life be great. Hope you have a good rest of the week. We'll talk to you probably tomorrow, you guys, on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.